When I initially met Miss Garlock, my first impression was, gosh, she's mean. Granted, I was in the 5th grade and I thought I knew everything, of course. She was intimidating and serious. Fast forward to present day, she's one of the most incredible and complex humans I've come to know and love. I want to thank her for the hours dedicated to mentoring me, not only in school, but in cheerleading as well. Thank you for teaching me that being a leader means more than being in charge. Thank you for teaching me that no matter how hard things may get, that they always get better. Not only are you the greatest mentor I've had, but I've come to discover that you have a pure heart of gold, even if you only show it to a few people. Miss Garlock, I chose you for this award because no matter how upset I got with you, or you with me, you always saw the potential in me and gave me opportunity after opportunity to prove myself to not only you, but everyone around us. Thank you for letting me share my life experiences with you and feeling vulnerable enough to show me your true colors as well. You have repeatedly given me the confidence and motivation I've always desperately needed. Thank you for being the best mentor I've had yet. You fueled my passion and taught me to follow my dreams. Thank you for always pushing my limits. You are an inspiration and a true Renaissance woman. I have not only found someone to look up to, but I found a forever friend, and for that I am eternally grateful.
Thank you. I have loved you since 5th grade, and she is amazing and dedicated and talented, and so many reasons for her to be a leader, but it just comes natural to her, and she's been such a blessing to me. It's going to be hard next year without her, and I can't tell you how strong this woman is and how many talents that she has, and I'm thankful to be just a small part of her life and can't wait to see what she does. Thank you, Emerson.
Hi everyone, my name is Damon Balo, and some people do know me, but to those that don't, that is how you correctly pronounce my last name. But I'm here tonight to receive this honorable award due to my academic excellence, but not only am I here to be honored, but I'm also here to honor a teacher who has made milestones in my life. So I'm here to honor tonight Miss Lisa Atkins. She is the culinary arts teacher at Virginia High School, and I have been lucky to have attended all 3 courses that is offered in the department, and through her teachings, she has led me to many competitions through the culinary arts department, leading me to be able to be a district champ and to be labeled a state competitor. But through her teachings, I have been and experienced many memorable moments. Like, for instance, if you mistake a cup of salt for a cup of sugar, it will make a difference in the cupcakes you were trying to make. Or, for instance, if you forget about the cookies you were trying to bake, they will burn. But that's all experiences are. Lessons to be learned, and through her teaching methods, I have learned many. But I cannot show my gratitude enough besides saying thank you. Thank you for being the teacher you are, for making the difference you have in my life, and to those that are yet to come. Thank you for being you.
Hello, I'm Lisa Atkins, and I'm just so thankful for this award. Thank you so much, David, for all your kind words. I do want to say that he has been such a delight to have in class this year. And the last 2 years, I've been very blessed to have him in class. He's very talented. He does what I ask him to do. Sometimes I don't even have to tell him what to do, and he knows exactly what to do. And I love that about him. He is a great joy. I've just been so blessed to have him in class for the past 3 years, and I would dearly miss him along with his other classmates. But he is very special, and I'm just thank you so much for this award.
What makes someone a great teacher? A question that sometimes circles people's minds. A Greek writer named Nikos Kazantzakis once said, "True teachers use themselves as bridges over which they invite their students to cross them." Having facilitated their crossing joyfully collapse, encouraging them to create bridges of their own. Reading this quote, I can easily name teachers that have taken me under their wing, like the lovely Mrs. Cross who taught me civics and world history and adopted me as her senior, and Miss Harmon, who I consider to be one of the most amazing people I've ever met and have had the honor to be in her choir during high school. But there's specifically one teacher that has not only had me under his wing, but has helped me grow wings of my own. I honestly don't even think of him as a teacher. I think of him as a mentor and a role model, and most importantly, as a friend. This person is the wonderful Coach Hodge. Coach Hodge is a physical education teacher and also the athletic trainer for Virginia Public Schools. I remember when I first met Coach Hodge when I was just moved to Bristol and was starting 4th grade at Highland View. Coach Hodge was one of those teachers who turned my days from sad to happy just by saying hello to me. At the time in elementary school, that was the highlight of my day, being able to be in the gym and talk to him or fist bump him when we ran laps around the gym. In his class was the first time I felt powerful, as he would always pair the girls against the boys, but of course would cheer on the girls. Even in middle school, Coach Hodge was a teacher that I always thought about and would always get excited to see when my middle school choir performed their musical in front of the elementary schools. That excitement still remained when I started high school. My sophomore year, I got to work almost as an assistant to Coach Hodge during the football season. At the time, I had zero idea what I'd be getting myself into. Right after high school, I would walk down to his office in the indoor track and help with tasks such as filling up the water coolers with ice, mixing Gatorade for the players for after practice, fetching equipment for athletes, and listen to country music with him in his office. I'd also help him at football games doing these same tasks. I worked with him from sophomore year up to this year. The opportunity I had with Hodge was something I valued so much, and as part of high school, I will look back on it after 10 years and say, I'm glad I did that. But none of that could ever compare if Coach Hodge had said no. Coach Hodge did not just show me the life of athletic trainer, he helped me create a possible career path, which is something I thank him for. In middle school, I was terrified of not knowing what I was going to do once I finished high school. It was something that haunted me for many years. It did until I started working with Coach Hodge. Helping him every day after practices of football games, creating friendships with the players and coaches, and seeing how powerful and helpful of a job it is to be inspired me to look further and pursue this career. For something like that, I cannot say thank you to him enough. Earlier I asked what makes someone a great teacher, and I think an answer to that is not just being a teacher, not just sitting down with a student when they're struggling with a subject, not just helping them emotionally if they have issues that they're too scared to talk about, and not just supporting them in their extracurricular activities. I think what makes someone a great teacher is taking them in, creating paths for them, inspiring them, and opening their world to new possibilities. To sum it all up, Coach Hodge is the prime example of a great teacher, and I could not be more thankful for his presence in my life and all that he has done for this school system and for me.
It is with great honor that I accept this award from Chloe. Chloe exemplifies what a student and student athlete should be. Even though sports medicine and athletic trainers aren't really considered athletes, she was right there through thick and thin. A famous quote that I've heard that author is unknown: "It is amazing what can be accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit." She exemplifies that quote. She's a wonderful young lady. The future is so bright. I appreciate her parents for giving me the opportunity to work with her and trusting me to work with her. Unbelievable young lady. Middle Tennessee State's getting a wonderful, wonderful person. Thank you very much.
It's my honor to present the Golden V Award and to write a speech about a teacher or coach that inspired me. As I started to think about one individual, I realized that this was going to be a difficult decision. There have been so many teachers and coaches within the Bristol, Virginia public school system that have inspired me to become the best person I can be. One coach and teacher that inspired me the most is Carlos Lee. His dedication to the school system amazes me. He has been a teacher for the BVPS system for over 40 years. He has also coached baseball, basketball, and golf while working as a librarian. He has been the assistant girls basketball coach during my 4 years as a varsity basketball player and has inspired and pushed me in every practice to always strive to get better. Within every practice, Coach Lee would always be there to help me with any obstacles I came across. He has been a very successful coach and has won 3 rings with the varsity baseball team. He was also helping coach the girls basketball team my sophomore year when we went to the state semifinals. I remember him helping me practice for many days in preparation for the semifinal game. I had never been more prepared for a game in my life. I have loved having him as a coach, from him teasing Chloe to always making sure everyone had gum. I will truly miss having him as a coach. Thank you, Coach Lee, for all the wisdom that you have installed into me. You're an amazing coach and friend.
Thank you, Madison. This is a great honor and a privilege to receive this honor from you. You inspired me a whole lot too, because to me, you were the heart and the backbone to our basketball team. I mean, you showed your heart. It may be crying, but you showed your heart out there, and you worked very hard on the floor. And I really appreciate everything that you have done, and I appreciate the hard work that you have put in. And I know that you will do well and whatever you do, and if there's anything that I can do to help you, feel free to call on me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Abigail Crawford, and I am here to talk about the spectacular teacher, Miss Young. I've had Miss Young for 4 different math classes in my high school career, and I can confidently say I will never forget any of them. Math was never really my strong suit growing up because I always kind of found it difficult to grasp concepts and implement them correctly. So for years, I kind of treated math as like a chore, and it stayed on the back burner and never really thought about it that much. But that was until I stepped into Miss Young's second period Algebra 2 class my sophomore year of high school. For the first time in my life, math made sense. It no longer felt like a foreign language. I finally understood it. I was so excited that I finally knew what I was doing that I went and signed up for another math class that same year. I don't know how she does it, but somehow she made math interesting and easy, which are 2 words I never thought I would describe math. Anytime I would be stuck on a problem, Miss Young would always be able to make it so simple, and that's absolutely insane to me, how easy math came to her, and it's insane that she's just so good at it. And I love the fact that she always loves talking about math, and she loves talking about the calculator that she keeps in her purse all the time, and the crazy socks she wears every day that helps us remember our socks in statistics, and her pet peeve about attendance. I'll never forget all the things from her class. Miss Young has given me the greatest gift of understanding math, and she made everything click into place and helped me truly appreciate math for the first time. She's a wonderful person and the best teacher ever, and I'm sorry that our last year together got cut short, but I will always remember our times in class and use this knowledge you have given me for the rest of my life.
Well, now that's certainly a hard act to follow. It is such an honor that Abigail thought of me for this Golden V Award, and an honor to be able to have her for 3 out of her 4 high school years. But disappointed that I don't get to see her shining face first thing in the morning for the rest of the year. She's been a pleasure to work with, a joy to have, and I'll miss her. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Megan Denabraga, and I am the Director of Special Education Services here in Bristol City Schools. And I have a student here who's also going to introduce himself.
My name's Camden.
That's Camden Richard, and he is one of the students of the person that I have the honor and privilege to share some information about, and that is Starla Williams. She teaches students with disabilities in a self-contained setting, and she is not just a teacher. She gives everything to her kids, and she has a heart for those students who learn differently. Over the years, she has served the most challenging yet the most rewarding students in our community. I have witnessed personally Darla giving from her own resources to ensure her students have what they need. During this pandemic, she has delivered pizza to all her students, and that's just one of the many, many things that she has done. Ms. Williams will begin her 25th year of teaching here in Bristol next year, and we are blessed to have her. Ms. Williams taught Bristol's very first after-school alternative program in the basement of Rice Terrace. Ms. Williams spearheaded the Cafe Central, which is a community cafe where students with disabilities plan, prepare, and serve delicious lunches in a community church in collaboration with Tennessee High. Ms. Williams also began the Prom Closet to ensure that students with disabilities have dance attire, plus the food and the cost of the prom covered. Countless students have benefited from this program. She and her students design, create, and donate precious teddy bears throughout the community to bring cheer and happiness to everyone. She and her students also make weekly visits to the hospital to visit patients and deliver those teddy bears. There's not enough time here to share all that Darla has done, but I did want to share some things that her colleagues wanted to say about her because they truly say it best. She is the most amazing lady in the world. She is very thoughtful and caring, the most amazing lady you could ever work for. Miss Williams is a sincere person who cares about the most important things, being there for people and showing love and kindness to everyone. She is so kind that she would give you the shirt off her back. She always does her very best to make sure you know you are loved. Darla is a hard worker. She is conscientious and she loves her students with all her heart. She has initiated and been involved in all kinds of community services and projects, and she works collaboratively with everyone. She has a great sense of humor, and she is a great cook. And lastly, Darla is the most selfless, giving person. I've never met anyone else like her. She loves her students with a fierce kind of love, and she would go without, giving them her very last dime to make sure they are cared for. She is just wonderful. And so we'd like to present the Golden V Award to Miss Starla Williams.
Well, I'm humbled and I'm so excited to see Camden today. It's been a long time and I miss that face. I miss all my students, and I just can't say thank you enough for just the recognition. It means so much, and I am trying not to cry. I'm not really a crier, but it's humbling. So thank you so much. Thank you, Camden.
Mrs. Young, you were the first person I thought of when I found out I was receiving the Golden V. I had you as a teacher for 3 classes throughout high school: Algebra 2, Probs and Stats, and AP Stats, totaling an entire 1.5 years of my high school career. You were undoubtedly a wonderful teacher, conditioning me for an advanced score on the Algebra 2 SOL and a 5 on the AP Stats exam. You were always open to questions when I didn't quite get something at first. Math, and specifically statistics, is my favorite subject area, and you certainly played a large role in leading me to that conclusion. I could go on and on about how good of a math teacher you are, but you also have served a different role in my life, that of a mentor and even a friend. You make it very obvious that you genuinely care deeply about all of your students and want to see each of us succeed, not only in your class, but in all aspects of our lives. I really loved stats with you because it was such a small class, only 7 people, and it felt like I got to spend every morning of my junior year with a close-knit group of friends. You were always there to listen to our problems, whether it was petty high school drama or issues at home, and you never shied away from offering advice, good advice at that. When we had extra time in class, we could just talk, whether we were just telling different stories or discussing our plans for prom and showing off pictures of our dresses. And you always seemed genuinely interested in what we had to say and getting to know us, not only as students, but as people. You were there as a source of support and encouragement, whether you were buying us Chick-fil-A for lunch on the day of our AP exam or writing me a letter of recommendation that I've used for countless scholarships. Even this year, when I didn't actually have you as a teacher, I knew I could go to you if I needed anything, whether that be help with math or anything else. You and I are a lot alike, I think. I believe we share the same sort of straightforward, no-nonsense attitude and values of hard work, and I'm proud to say that. Thank you for being a wonderful teacher, friend, and mentor. I won't forget you.
Well, that was wonderful. It's been a privilege to receive this award and a privilege to teach Gabby. The saying, still waters run deep, applies to her for sure. Over the course of our 3 classes, I've gotten to know her quite a bit, and I think she's become more comfortable with me, and she's been such a joy. A wonderful way to start my day. I missed that this year because I didn't have her this year, but she's going to be a great Hokie, so looking forward to hearing those Hokie tales. Thanks again, Gabby.
As anyone else would feel, when I scheduled to take both pre-calculus and AP calculus in 1 year, I thought I was practically forfeiting my GPA. Math, with its pure definitive nature, is one of the most feared subjects among students. However, Mrs. Fisher makes calculus not only bearable, but gratifying. In her class, as soon as I applied myself, she matched and doubled the effort she spent with me. Out of all of the hours of tutoring I have received in high school, at least half of the time includes Mrs. Fisher.
Her dedication to her students is incomparable, for which she spent countless hours one-on-one with me in a given year. Her patience exceeds the expected. Mrs. Fisher helped me through the most lengthy calculus problems that would take 15 minutes to complete each. Teachers across America are all underappreciated. However, Mrs. Fisher is one of the unrecognized gems of Virginia High. She indirectly taught me that no matter how hard it may take to come upon a solution, mathematical or not, I can always reach it if I put forth the effort. Having her as a teacher was an honor and educated me on life lessons that transcends any math problem. I am not the first student to have been impacted through Mrs. Fisher, but I absolutely know that I'm not the last either. Just like a limit with infinite discontinuity, her true influence is boundless.
When I first heard that I was going to be getting the Golden Bee Award, there was only one teacher that came to mind about giving it to, which was you, Miss Harper. If I'm being honest, when I first got to the middle school, I was pretty afraid of you. I would always see you and Miss Goad yelling at students in the halls, and I remember thinking that I would never want to be on your bad side, and I still don't. However, being taught by you completely changed how I felt. Don't get me wrong, I never really looked forward to coming to school, but your class actually made it fun. You always used to make the class laugh even when you would yell at us. You always made in-class experiments engaging and entertaining, which made me really enjoy and look forward to going to your class every day, and I wish I could go back. You are very passionate about what you do and genuinely care about your students and them being successful, which is what makes you so special. You know how to connect with your students in a way that is unforgettable. I'm so happy I had the pleasure of having you 2 years in a row, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything. It may not seem like it, but you made a positive and significant impact on me and my education, and I will never forget it. There is no other teacher I would rather give my award to, and I'm so pleased to have had the opportunity to honor and recognize you today because you truly deserve it.
Okay, my sweet girl, I love you so much. And I wasn't gonna cry, but now I am. It means everything to me. As a teacher, you don't go into it for the money. You don't go into it for the fame. You go into it to make a difference. And the fact that I've made a difference in your life is all that I've ever asked for. And I couldn't be more proud of the beautiful woman you have grown into. And I love you so much. That's it.
So when I was trying to put into words about what to say about Woody, it was hard to put into words what he means to me. I've known Woody since I was 6, and he's coached me every year since, so I spend about 67% of the year with him in the pool, and being around him so much for so long, it's been like he's been another dad to me. And so we always joke around at practice, but he always knows when to get on me and make sure I'm doing my best. And so if you know Woody, he's not necessarily the most emotional person ever, so with him being like my second dad, I've always wanted to make him proud and see that little bit of emotion from him. So I'll never forget that my sophomore year, whenever we talked all year about me breaking the 100 fly record, and that regions meet whenever we did it. And so whenever any of us have a race going on in the pool, Woody will have his little heat sheet in his hand. He'll be pacing up and down the pool deck, and he'll give us this little arm motion whenever we see him. And so coming back that last lap of that 100 fly, I saw him, and he was getting a little more excited than he normally did, and I knew I had to get going and finish this last lap strong. So seeing that really pushed me through that last lap. And I just remember touching the wall and seeing that I broke the record. And once I got out of the pool, I went over and bear hugged Woody and picked him up. And I'll never forget that moment because I knew I made him proud. And so looking back on the years in the pool with Woody, I've seen how he's influenced me by instilling this drive for success in me. He's helped me learn how to push myself without having to be told, setting a standard for myself and maintaining that in any aspect of my life. And he's always been in my corner and helped me through the good times and the bad. And especially whenever I had back surgery this past summer, Woody was one of the first ones to come see me. He was going through a rough time, but he took the effort to come and see me, and he didn't come as coach to ask when I was gonna be back in the pool. He came to ask how I was doing, and he came to just check on me, just to be that other dad and just to be there for me. He's always been there like that for me. And the best example I can think of how he's been there, being willing to fight for me, was this past February at the state meet. We were going to finals, and we just got done warming up, and this official was asking where our head coach is and stuff like that. And later on, I learned that they were trying to kick me out of the meet because they thought my seat times were unofficial, and unknown to me, Woody had gotten back in the van, and he drove him back to the hotel, or was on his way to drive back to the hotel to get all the stuff he needed to go to fight for me. And he's just always been like that, always been in my corner, and it's just meant the world to me. And so for everything Woody's done for me, I'm forever grateful, and I love you, and I thank you.
Wow. As Cooper said, I met him when he was 6 years old when I came back to Bristol and started coaching a little bit, and I've watched him grow up and go from young man to somebody that everybody needs to be very, very proud of, with his work ethic, his desire to succeed, even to overcome when things didn't go so well for him with his back surgery. And he stepped up, he was there. He had his days of frustration, but he got through it, and luckily enough, it had a very happy ending at the end of the year with him winning a state championship. But he not only did he, as he said, he impacted me. I mean, just as being here in Bristol and watching him grow up, and the other swimmers around him, and the leadership that he provided, and for the team to succeed like they did this year. Not only as a swimmer, he's a good student athlete as well. I'm kind of speechless and more emotional than I normally get, I guess. Thank you, Cooper. I appreciate it.
When I was told that I qualified for the Golden V, my mind immediately went to the one person that I knew I had to present this award to, Mrs. Rosenbaum. The first time I had her as a teacher was my junior year for pre-cal. Don't get me wrong, I knew who she was because I vividly remember her and two other teachers jokingly yelling at kids in the hall of Virginia Middle School. To be completely honest, it was one of the funniest memories I have. However, this is not about her joking around with the kids at the middle school. This is about her character and how she has become an important aspect in my life. Let's start out by saying she is a brilliant individual and is very talented in mathematics. Up until our year, Mrs. Rosenbaum mainly taught algebra and pre-algebra. So when she was given a pre-cal class, I think it was kind of a shock. It's hard to relearn a subject, and she was right there with us learning as we went. It was kind of a joke in our class that she was pretty much a student as well. We all did our homework and quizzes together. If we had work, so did she. Mrs. Rosenbaum also wasn't one of those teachers who stuck to a schedule and pushed us to complete tasks we didn't understand. She made adjustments and worked with us to not only learn pre-cal, but to also increase our intellectual abilities. Some of my favorite memories from that class were our tutoring sessions. I used to go in there probably 3 times a week. I was worried I was going to get on her nerves sooner or later, but I don't think that was the case. She honestly became my best friend that semester. I used to complain about anything and everything, including the work we were doing. She just sat there and took it. Poor thing. Looking back, she probably did get tired of me. Midway through the semester, her dad had an accident and was in rough shape for a little while. I don't remember the details of the accident, but I know he was transferred to a center to help him recover. Mrs. Rosenbaum dropped everything and went to his side. This just proved to me how much she will do for those she loves. She is one of the strongest women I know. She just had her 3rd baby a month ago, and here she is looking as good as ever. I would also like to mention how in school systems today, God isn't really mentioned, and while she never pressured anyone, it was evident that her religion played a major role in her life as it does in mine. This aspect allowed me to relate to her on an even more personal level. To conclude, she also won me over with her afternoon snacks, candy, and party at the end of the year. I don't remember any of these things since about 6th grade. It was amazing to have fun like that again. Overall, she's one of the coolest women I've ever met. On the surface, you can see how genuine she is, but if you get to know her, you start to realize that she is also caring, loving, supportive, and quirky. Thank you for all those memories, Miss Rosenbaum. I am honored to give you this award.
Caitlin, let me first just thank you for the opportunity to teach you. You and the students that are like you are the true reason that I got into this profession, and your words have humbled me and filled my heart with so much love and joy and appreciation. That was definitely one of my hardest years teaching, and
I know that I could count on a few things, and some of those things were your front row and center, and your smiling face, your hardworking attitude, and just your smile. You're a beautiful soul, and I appreciate you so much, more than you will ever know. I know that you're destined for greatness. I can't wait just to see the great things that you'll accomplish, and to know that I played a very small role in that is truly humbling, and for that, I thank you very much.
I have had some amazing teachers and role models throughout my years in high school, but when I found out I was receiving the Golden V, I knew I wanted to give it to Mr. Reed. On the very first day of school this year, Mr. Reed pulled Madison Tester and I out of choir to ask us to sing for the Bluegrass Band. We both happily agreed, and soon started working with Mr. Reed and the rest of the band to put some songs together. Along with singing, I told Mr. Reed that I had always wanted to play the fiddle, and he said that he would happily give me lessons. Shortly after, he began teaching me some basic songs and techniques. Somehow, throughout all of my screeching and not so pleasant music, Mr. Reed continued to show patience and support. I always looked forward to the lessons and being able to sing with the band. I created new friendships and developed a new passion for music. But above all this, I also gained a great role model who's always showed kindness anywhere he went. Nearly every morning, I could count on Mr. Reed being in the hallway greeting Maddie and I with a smile and a good morning. Mr. Reed often gave up his time after school to work with Maddie and I, and even devoted time to go to nursing homes and churches to play music with the band. Outside of music, Mr. Reed also supported me at various other events, including plays and swim meets. His encouragement and uplifting spirit had a huge impact on my life, and I will always be thankful for the influence he has had on me.
I think she just likes to make old people cry, because she does that sometimes. But what a privilege to know Madison and her twin sister Madison. They're precious girls, and I'm not technically a teacher at the school. I'm a truant officer, so I don't get a lot of awards or recognition for doing good things, but the passion of our lives is sharing music, and she's going to do great things. And what a privilege it is to know her, and look forward to seeing what she does in the future.
I'm dedicating this award to my biology teacher, Mr. Heath. He taught me to love the world around me and that everything has a purpose. He helped me through a tough time in my life. All those after-class talks that we had, and all the film club meetings we had, they really meant a lot. We would talk about Red Dead Redemption a lot. That's his favorite video game. He was extremely excited whenever it was announced the second one would come, and he would talk about it every day. And it really made my time in that class a lot more enjoyable. He was one of the first teachers to ever make me feel as a friend, other than a student. We had some pretty deep conversations about whether it was video games or editing movies and things. We didn't really talk about biology that much. He had a lot of fun stories about his time as a chemist, but I think he should share those rather than me. He knows them quite well. I would just like to say, whether you were a chemist, an actor, or a biology teacher, you mean the world to me, Mr. Heath. You made me think out of the box and find interest in the littlest things. I'll miss our talks. Thank you for putting up with me for 4 years. I know AP Bio wasn't a shining moment, but hope you're getting better. And thank you for all that you've done for me.
During my time at Virginia High, I had a lot of teachers that influenced my life as a student, but one that stood out to me was Mr. Hurd. Ever since freshman year, I took a class of Mr. Hurd's all 4 years, and in all of those classes, he pushed me to be a better student myself and taught me that everything in life's not going to be handed to you. You have to work for it. And I thank him for that, because he boosted my work ethic and showed me that everything's not just going to get handed to you, and you have to work for what you want in life. Thank you.
I'm truly honored to receive this award. As far as I'm concerned, this is the greatest thing as a teacher you can receive, because it comes from the student themselves and shows the connection we're able to have. I knew from the time Tyler came into my classroom, I believe it was first period, first semester, of his freshman year, very first class, was technical drawing. And I remember where he sat in the back of my old classroom and everything. I knew right from the start he was a great guy and a good student. I could tell he had a great sense of humor and just nice all around. And over the years, I think he's had 5 classes with me maybe. So that's like a sixth of his entire high school career spent with me. I kind of feel sorry for him a little bit. But we have had a great time, and I'm truly honored that he chose me for this honor. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Miss Terry, for showing me more than any classroom could have. Even on your bad days, you would show people respect even if they weren't deserving. While service learning with you, I've learned just how much you really do for Virginia Middle School, and I wish all students could have this opportunity to shadow you. You truly have made my senior year full of special memories that I will keep close to my heart.
Well, I was going to say I never have any bad days, but we know that's not true. I feel very fortunate to have been able to work with Megan, and she made my days better. So I wish her the best in the future. Thank you so much for giving me this award. You really deserve it, though. I wish you all the best, and I'll have a new beautician eventually. Thanks.
So this year I've been given the privilege to give back to the person who has impacted my life in many ways. I wanted to give this award to someone I've known my whole life and who has made an impact on the person I am today. Mom, you have shaped me into the person I am and continue to be every day of my life. Though I might not have gotten to have you in the classroom, you're still one of the best teachers and role models I have ever had in my life. The skills you have taught me are some that will help me to be successful every day. Your impact goes far beyond me. While I was your service learner, I watched you teach others and instill your compassion to those who needed it. While you teach the SOL standards, you also teach skills and lessons that go far beyond the classroom. I know your students would feel the same way. Thank you for being the strongest woman I have ever met. Together we have shared many laughs as well as tears, but you have never failed to amaze me in all that you do. While sometimes you could be embarrassing, as most moms are, I wouldn't trade you for the world. The strength you display is something I will never be able to live up to, but it is something I strive for every day. No matter the obstacle, problem, or situation, it seems like you always have the right answer. It is no secret that as a mother you are given many roles and responsibilities. However, you have never let any of that get in the way of being at all my games or events. Your day does not stop when you leave work. You then have to come home and prepare dinner or rush to a practice or game. But in my 17 years, I do not recall a time you complained about it. You have shown me how to be a great woman of faith and how to love others with compassion. You were there for me for my very first steps, and I'm so thankful to have you to guide me for the rest of my life. You're not only my mom, but you're a person I can come to during times of need. Because words are limiting, I cannot begin to tell you the amazing impact you have had on my life. As I go off to college, I know I will remember the lessons you have taught me. You will continue to impact my life for years to come. This award is just a small expression of my gratitude for all that you have done and continue to do. I look forward to our Wednesday night dinners. I love you.
Well, I have to say I'm very honored, and that means so much to me. Getting an award from my daughter is very special, and I'm very proud of you, your hard work, all of your achievements, and no, I love you always. Thank you.
Ms. Probst, you have been one of the most influential teachers I've ever had, but you've also been one of the most influential people in my life in general. Your kindness, patience, generosity, and tolerance inspire me to be more like you and treat people as nicely as you do, but honestly, sometimes I don't know how you do it. It's been an honor to have you as an English teacher this year and as a coach since my freshman year. I still remember you giving me opportunities to play as an unskilled and inexperienced freshman. With your guidance, however, I worked my way up to being a national competitor, and I never could have done that without you. I was so excited for you to be able to come this year, but that was canceled. But at least I still have all the tournament memories though, like you always bring us a million donuts every morning, jamming out on bus rides, and eating at Pizza Town every time you went through Lebanon, which was one of my personal favorites. Even if we didn't win a match, you were always proud of us, and you tried to help us look on the bright side, even if we had just lost to Honaker by almost 200 points. And I will say that I was a little scared of you sometimes when I'd miss a question we'd had a million times in practice and you gave me that look. And I would beg you for forgiveness, but you'd always tell me that I'd get it eventually to make me feel better, because you're one of the most encouraging people I know. As a coach, you helped me become a well-rounded player and always had faith in me and inspired me to do my best. As an English teacher, you've made me a better writer and helped me enjoy reading again, except Wuthering Heights, but I don't think anyone can make me enjoy that book. But there are also some things you had us read that I'll remember for the rest of my life, like Siddhartha and Their Eyes Were Watching God. And as mediocre as my pressure rights were, you never tore them apart and you always made me feel better about them. You've helped me improve my writing exponentially, and I'm excited to take the information you've given me to college. What sets you apart from any other teacher I've had is the way you enrich the learning process. You really take the time to make sure we understand our material and to make sure that all your students succeed. One of my favorite memories of your class and of high school in general is when you brought the Our Lady of Our Angels Monastery cheese for the class and you cut up apples to go with it. I think that was the best cheese I've ever had, and I just might have to order it around Christmas. It's things like that that really set you apart from other teachers, and it's been an honor to know you for your last 4 years at Virginia High. Thank you for all you've done for me as a coach and an educator. You've left a permanent mark on me, and I'll always think about you when I see the rock.
It has been an absolute joy and an honor to have Lucy Heffinger as a student and as a Scholastic Bowl player. She is the most motivated, the most energetic Scholastic Bowl team participant I have ever known. And I've been coaching since 1989, so that's a lot of Scholastic Bowl students. I've had a lot of good ones over the years, but she has been absolutely phenomenal. And all of her accolades that she's earned in the Scholastic Bowl are well deserved. There's no one who's tried harder or worked harder than Lucy. And I'm just heartbroken that we can't go to Chicago. We'd look forward to that for quite some time. But we know that she earned that privilege, so that's almost as good. And I have had more fun with her team. They are an absolutely delightful group of young students, and they absolutely made my day every time I saw them. She was also a fabulous English student. She's a phenomenal reader. She's a great writer. She's way better at writing than she thinks she is. And I know that she is going to do beautifully in college, and she would have done just fine without me, but I appreciate her very kind comments. And I'll miss her like everything. Thank you, Lucy.
Today I would like to honor an incredibly special, one-of-a-kind teacher, Miss Probst. She is such a kind-hearted person who genuinely cares about her students and their future. I had Miss Probst as a teacher twice throughout high school, and she always managed to make class interesting and fun. I cannot thank her enough for always making me feel comfortable and welcome in her class and always being there to answer any questions I had. I'm truly honored to have had such an amazing teacher who I'll never forget, and I can't think of anyone who is more deserving of this award than Miss Probst.
Madison, thank you so much. That is absolutely lovely. And it has been a joy to have Madison in class not only once but twice. I can imagine that sometimes students look at their schedules and they think, oh my goodness, I have Miss Probst again, but that's very nice of her to have been okay with it. I'm always more than okay with it. When I get my students the second time, I feel like the lucky one when that happens, but in her case particularly. Madison is a role model of a student. She is lovely, she is mature, she is responsible. She sets the tone for the whole class. And she may not know it, but I've always appreciated that so much about her. If all my other students were exactly like her, I'd teach until I'm 90. She is a lovely human being. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's energetic. helpful. I was delighted when I realized that she was willing to run for a Beta Club office. She was absolutely a tremendous help to me with that. But to me, Madison is my idea of what a good human being is. And thank you for raising such a lovely daughter and for sending her to us. And I'm ever grateful. Thank you, Madison.
I knew going into this class would be a challenge. I remember hearing the students a year ahead of me always talking about the amount of papers they had to write for her class. They would say, "It can be a lot of work, but she really helps you get ready for college." And I knew they were serious when she gave us an assignment over summer break before the class officially began. After hearing all these stories, many people decided to just take English online so they didn't have to deal with the summer reading. However, I decided to take her dual enrollment English 12 class as an opportunity to strengthen my writing and prepare for what I will face in the near future. It turned out that only 6 of us chose to take her class this year. Being in this small class made our discussions and classwork fun and memorable. It also allowed us to develop a close relationship with each other and Ms. Probst. Now that it has come to an end, I am truly able to see how much I have grown through my writing and as an individual, which is why I have chosen Ms. Probst for the Golden Bee. Throughout the school year, I have learned so much about writing, literature, and even myself. Ms. Probst has had a major impact on where I see myself in the future. Not only did she provide me with a great education, but she also inspired, encouraged, and motivated me. Taking this course and having the privilege of having Ms. Probst as my teacher has influenced my career goals and what I hope to achieve. I have decided to major in English and become a teacher with Ms. Probst as an inspiration. And with the help from the recommendation letter she wrote me, I was accepted to attend James Madison University, where I will go this fall to further my education. Thank you, Ms. Probst, for all that you have done for me. Thank you for marking my entire essay with purple ink, for all the books, plays, and poetry we had to read, for introducing me to English literature, for all your kindness and inspiration, and for challenging me. I'm so glad I was able to have you as my teacher for your last year.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Camille. It has been an absolute joy to have Camille as a student. She is beautiful. She is wonderful. She's an inspiration to me. She is so highly motivated and responsible. I could always depend on her to do exactly everything that I had asked her to do, exactly when it was supposed to be done, to the letter. She's just an amazing person, I think. And I'm absolutely blown away that you've decided to be an English teacher. I think that is wonderful. That is the best news I've had, and I don't know when. And I've had a lot of good news lately, so that tells you that's good news. So that I am honored and thrilled that you have made that career decision, and I hope that you will enjoy it as much as I have. But she is a role model of a student. I could always depend on her to be one of the grown-ups in the class, and I have truly enjoyed seeing her blossom as a student. She has put so much effort into what she's done this year, and I really see I'm sorry, I'm losing my words here, but she just has an amazing drive to succeed and to do well. And she's a person who, instead of being rankled at suggestions or constructive criticism, she's a person who's always welcomed it. Which I think shows good self-esteem on her part, which is something that teachers need. So I think she is well suited in temperament and demeanor for the field of education, and we will be lucky to have you among our ranks. Thank you, my dear.
In the past 12 years, I've met many teachers, but none have influenced me as much as Miss Harmon has. She continues to inspire me daily as a teacher and as a role model. Her encouragement, advice, and support have gotten me through many different times in my life over the past 3 years. She shows constant selflessness and devotion to all of her students and always goes out of her way to help however she can. She has taught me so much, from music to life lessons, that I will forever hold on to. Although she has always had something to do around the school, she always has had her door open, whether I needed help with our bluegrass harmonies, figuring out our future, or if I just needed to talk. I know she is and always will be there for me no matter what. Not only has she inspired me through all of this, but she has also inspired me for being firm in her faith. Ms. Harmon has encouraged me countless times, and I look up to her so much, and that she is not afraid to be open and share her faith with others. I will never forget our times together, from the tears to the laughter and the wonderful music that we have made over the past few years. Ms. Harmon, words cannot express how grateful I am to have been able to get to know you and become so close with you. Thank you for everything you have done. You truly are a person I aspire to be when I grow older. I love you so much, and as you always say, never forget the music.
Madison, also known as Thing 1 in my group, because we had Thing 1 and Thing 2, Madison and Madison. You have been such a joy, such an inspiration, such a help to me. There have been many days when I've left school nearly in tears just from exhaustion, and I've thought back to some of the things you've said and done. It. That smile, always that smile on your face, has been such an uplifting thing for me that I've gone home and just ended up the evening with a smile on my face. When I said never forget the music, it's because our souls are music. The song, How Great Thou Art, says, then sings my soul. Our souls sing. And we have tried so much to bring that out in our group. And your voice has added so much to that group, so much strength and power. And what I've seen from you has been that you have developed your poise and your confidence and your belief in your own worth as a human being and as a woman. If nothing else, I have tried to inspire my girls to be strong, confident young women, women who can do anything, who can be anything, who can reach any height. Thank you so much. I will never, ever forget you, and I love you from the bottom of my heart, now and for always.
Tonight I'm honored to give my Golden Bee Award to Mr. Tate. The past few years he's been a great teacher and has taught me a lot and inspired me a lot throughout the past few years, so making my English classes and my yearbook classes very interesting and very fun to come to. I've always looked forward to learning, and he's always been somebody that I can trust in and confide in and have a lot of fun with, so we've always had a great time, and I don't think there's any better teacher to give this award to for me, and I just want to thank him for everything that he's done and for everything that he does for the students, and just to thank him for all of that. So yes, thank you.
I just want to say thanks to Victoria. It's been really great having her and knowing her for the past few years and having her in class. She's made my days wonderful days, and it's been an honor and a lot of fun having her in class. And I hate that her senior year ends this way, but I'm sure she'll go on to do great things. And yeah, thanks.
I'd like to start off by talking about how difficult of a decision this was. I went to Miss Dean immediately and asked if I could give the award to 2 different people. Unfortunately, the answer was no. While there have been many teachers throughout my schooling career that have influenced my life, there are 2 that stick out in my mind. Most likely, during the school day, if you were to find me, I was with one of them. I want to recognize a man that has become family over the past 3 years of my life. Not only has he touched me as a teacher, but I also had the opportunity to call him my coach. My relationship with Coach Rasnick is truly special, and I will cherish that bond forever. The person that I will be recognizing today is a person that I have recently grown close to just this year. I had chosen to give my Golden V Award to a very special man that I've gotten the opportunity to work with and learn from over the course of a year. From a mentor to a wingman, he's done it all. I've watched him handle countless situations from moody teenagers to enraged adults and parents. Somehow, I've never seen him lose his cool. Luckily, instead of just referring to him as our assistant principal and athletic director, I had the opportunity to call him boss. I'd like to thank the United Way for the summer internship program for kicking off what has turned into the best job I could have ever asked for to have during high school. From my time with Mr. Harper, I've learned a lot about him. I can say I've gained a substantial amount of respect for him. Prior to my time working for him, I never understood the number of hours of work and preparation that goes into being the athletic director. Nobody sees the time he spends working on the weekends or the days he comes in to work at 7:30 in the morning and doesn't finally leave until 1 the next morning. Not to mention the amount of time he spends doing work as the assistant principal. I know there are some days he wishes that he only did one or the other, but after watching him deal with kids the way he does, I've realized he's the perfect man for both jobs. Some days I would walk into his office and I could just feel the stress and frustration the second I would walk in the door. Leslie Byington, a teacher at Highland View, who also plays a big part in the athletic department, and I have a nickname for him when he gets like this, and we call him the Grim Reaper. When he enters Reaper mode, we've learned to just try not to add on to his levels of stress. Any situation that would pop up, we would just try to make decisions to avoid asking him questions and just adding on. All jokes aside, I've witnessed him have to deal with some intense and awkward situations, and I now understand why he has the levels of stress that he does. I'd like to thank Mr. Harper for everything he has done for me. I have made countless memories over the past year by his side that will last a lifetime. Sadly, our time together was cut short, but I will forever be grateful to this man, and I wouldn't trade a single second of the time we spent together. Virginia High is lucky to have him.
I knew I wouldn't be able to get through this without having some notes. Jake, it's truly an honor to receive this Golden V from you. What started as a summer internship developed into something so much more. I hope you know the impact that you've had on Virginia High as an athletic department and as a whole, but more importantly, the impact that you've had on me and my family. You have done so much to help me and so many others. The characteristics of your kindness, willingness to help, regardless of who the person was or what they had, oftentimes I would just sit back in awe and watch. I've been in education a long time, and I've truly never met a student like you. Words cannot truly express how much you mean to me and my family. Mr. and Mrs. Johnston, I know you realize this, but you've raised a very special young man. Virginia High, and especially myself, appreciate you sharing him with us. I am thankful for the time that we have worked together and look forward to watching everything that you will accomplish in the future. You will always be a special part of the Bearcat and Harper families. Thank you again, and I'm so humbled to receive this award from you.
When they first told me about this award sophomore year, that it was for someone in the school system that made an impact on my life, I thought of many people. You see, I loved a lot of the teachers and staff in the school system, and a lot of them made a huge impact on my life, but none quite like the way Coach Neely did. You see, I remember meeting Neely in the wrestling room, and I remember that it was a Tuesday and I had just got done wrestling a challenge match for my starting spot junior year. As I walked out of the circle out of breath, I heard Coach telling me to come talk to him. You see, this was something I learned that he would do all the time. Every match I won or lost, Coach would be right there after the match telling me what I could do to get better. As I got to know him more through my friends, Gage and Wyatt, I learned a lot about him. I even spent part of my summer with him. You see, he would make workouts for me and a few other wrestlers because he was always trying to get us better. It was not just hard work trying to get better that summer, but it was fun work with him. I remember Coach Neely would always say, "Doesn't matter, get better," and I would jokingly say it all the time. You see, even though I was joking at the time, I didn't realize how much that one statement would change my life.
In everything I did and continue to do, I always want to better my life, whether it be spiritually, physically, academically, or mentally. I am always looking for a way to get better, and I believe Coach Neely taught me this mindset. You see, even though I had never had Coach Neely as a teacher, and I always wish I did, because I know whatever he does, he always puts in the tough work and is constantly looking for a way to be better for his students, wrestlers, and his family. You see, even though it was hard for students and athletes to see sometimes, I understand the amount of time that a coach and teacher takes away from their lives and their families to better our lives. And Coach Neely went above and beyond that. When I think back to that summer, I just think of a few of us wrestlers wanted to get better, and we asked Coach to help us, and without hesitation he did. He took the time out of his free summer to spend time to help us achieve our goal and to get us better. You know, I can't think of a time Coach wasn't trying to help me in some way. I remember one particular day I didn't get a lot of sleep before a match because of high school things, and I remember that I blew a match that I shouldn't have. And after the match, Coach came to see me, and he talked and cheered me up, and that meant the world to me. And I remember that he was always someone looking out for me, and that he always wanted the best for me. He always went out of his way to make sure that he knew that he believed in me. You see, in a way, I looked at him as a father figure because of all he did for me and continues to do. Coach Neely gave me hope for the future and a sense of ambition. Coach, I'm so happy that you've been able to coach me for these past 2 years, and I wish that you could have been my teacher because I know how passionate you are about everything you do. I always admired how you considered the wrestling room sacred and how faithful you are to God and your family. You've always really taught me so much in life, whether it be how to shoot a simple shot or how to handle some tough times. It brings a smile to my face when I found out that you told Joe that he was going to be a future state champion every day in the hallway. And it's really awesome that he could have you as a teacher and maybe as a coach. And I love you more than you know, and I appreciate how much of a friend and mentor you have been over the past 2 years for me. I'm excited to go to UVU, and I can't wait to use all you have taught me. Thanks for the fishing trips and the wrestling meets, and I love you and your whole family and appreciate everything you've done for me. There's not a person in the world that deserves this award more than you.
Thank you, AJ. To be honest, I did not expect to receive an award or anything of this nature. It's not something I look for, and I'm very happy that AJ can see that I care a lot about him. I care a lot about all of my students, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. See, what AJ doesn't tell you is that he has the right attitude. He works hard. He does what I ask. He does what his teachers ask and what his coaches ask, what his mom asks of him. And that's why he will be successful. He'll always be successful, and he'll always work hard. And because of young men like AJ, I get the honor of being able to receive an award like this. And I hope he knows how much I love and appreciate him. And though I pick on him at times, I hope he knows it's because I expect the best out of him, because I see the best in him. And so thank you, AJ.
Mr. Ashbrook is many things: funny, friendly, smart, creative, crazy, a man with a great beard. The list could go on and on. The most important of all is that he doesn't quit. This is one of the 2 reasons that Mr. Ashbrook is the best teacher I've ever had. I've had 2 of Mr. Ashbrook's classes, Earth Science during my freshman year and Astronomy during my junior year. Throughout those 2 classes, I've learned 2 very key things. 1, Mr. Ashbrook is absolutely insane. 2, he never gives up on his students. There have been many students in his class that they refused to work or just didn't understand the material. Despite that, he never gave up on them, and instead, he worked with them and motivated them to be the best they could be. He's exactly what a teacher should be. And then the main reason I chose Mr. Ashbrook for this award is because of one simple thing he said on the first day of astronomy. He said, "This class has 2 rules. Rule number 1, don't sweat the small stuff. Rule number 2, everything is small stuff." It's crazy how 2 simple rules can change the way someone looks at things entirely. Since that day, I've stressed so much less and have just learned to enjoy everything. The saying might sound cheesy, but depending on how you look at it, everything really is small stuff. Thank you, Mr. Ashbrook, for everything you've taught me. I will always remember the skills you taught me in the classroom, but what you taught me to use outside will always be more important.
So first and foremost, thank you for this honor. Any recognition a teacher can get will always fall short when compared to a recognition received by a student. Anybody can tell me I do a good job, but when a person that I strive to affect tells me that I've done a good job, it means that I have succeeded. But I'd also like to thank you again, Taylor, because you helped in a way that you may not realize. I had you for earth science and for astronomy, and in both classes, you were quiet. Sure, you would answer questions if asked, and you would ask me questions if you had them. It wasn't that you were afraid to speak, you just didn't. You listened. You always listened. You ensured that I had to stay on top of my game as a teacher because I knew whatever I said to you, you would hear. So I couldn't afford to be wrong. I couldn't afford to say something that wasn't true or that wasn't scientifically accurate, because if I did, then you would know that thing, and then that means that I would fail. So thank you, Taylor, for making sure that I stay an informed professional and then making sure that I stay the best version of myself that I can be.
Wow, would you look at that? I graduated with a Golden V Award. High five me, you know? Some people will ask, was it worth the effort? I'd say, sure, why not? It's a cool glass award I can say your mom doesn't have. Though honestly, at the end of the day, I'm not one to really care for recognition, but I am more than happy to be given the opportunity to show and tell Miss Stacy how much I appreciate her. I can't say in confidence I'm the best student or even the easiest student to have, and yet somehow she handled me. The craziest thing is not only did she handle me, she captured my attention. Every day, and I mean every day, I was excited for her class. I was thrilled that I got to spend as much time with her as I did. I knew every day I was going to learn something new, and I loved every minute of her class. It's hard to sum up the amazing memories I made in a year and a half in just 2 minutes. But I remember every other day I joked about learning black magic tricks in her class because it was the easiest way for me to express about how I had no clue what she was talking about. But I want to be clear, she didn't just teach me chemistry and physics, aka witchcraft, aka the Salem Witch curriculum. She taught me how to be a better version of myself. I can only say that about a few people, and I can only show that appreciation in so many ways. Miss Stacy, I hope you know how much I appreciate you, and I hope one day I can repay this debt of gratitude I have for you. But until then, I hope you can accept this dope glass trophy with your name on it, and remember every time you look at it, what a difference you made in my life.
I don't know which way to look. I just want to say thank you, Wyatt. This means a whole lot to me, and I'm choked up a little bit here. It's a big honor, and it was very interesting having you and your brother in class, and Hunter and AJ, and I will never forget your class, that's for sure. And I'll never forget our big giant end of the year food day. Yeah. There's never been another like that, and I don't think there ever will be one like that. So thank you very much, and congratulations on graduating and your Golden V. And thank you.
I remember hearing a few years ago about Golden V Awards, and I already knew which teacher I wanted to be a part of it. Of course, I've had many amazing teachers throughout the years, but there is always one that had the biggest impression on me. Mr. Ashbrook has given me many memories and lessons that I don't think I'll ever forget. He has a very unique way of teaching and really made school so much more enjoyable. He tells stories and makes things very interactive, and somehow makes a PowerPoint more than just a PowerPoint. I remember having him my freshman year for earth science, and then the class doesn't seem that enjoyable. He always somehow made it interesting. Especially the second semester that year, my friend and I always thought of his class as a period we'd look forward to. He was also over the card club, which we started going to play Magic the Gathering with some of my friends. It was similar to his classes because he was always happy to help, and he always knew so much about whatever he did. Everyone who attended looked up to him and always learned something new. He was like a video game boss that everyone was trying to beat, but all while teaching us how to beat him. It was always so much fun to attend. I then had him for astronomy in 11th grade, which ended up being one of my favorite classes I've ever taken. I was already interested in the subject, but he made it so much better. You can tell he was passionate and wanted to help, which always changed the moods in his class. I learned so much about him
and I will forever remember the little facts he told. Not everything he teaches is part of the curriculum, though. I've also remembered many lessons life from him. For example, one of the biggest ones I can remember is a quote he used to always say, "Don't sweat the small stuff, everything is small stuff." And I think I'll always remember that. Personally, I'm guilty for worrying about things that aren't that big of a deal, and this little reminder throughout the semester has always helped. Overall, he reflects a very positive and optimistic outlook on learning and how class can be just more than just sitting at a desk and trying to pass. He always found a way to make learning fun and interesting. I'm grateful to have such an opportunity to be able to give him this award that I think he very much deserves, and I'm also very happy to have had him as a teacher.
Emily, so first and foremost, thank you for this honor. It's always great to be recognized for my job, but any recognition that I could receive will always fall short when compared to a recognition given by a student. Anybody can tell me that I've done a good job, but when the people I strive to affect tell me I've done a good job, then I know I've succeeded. When I first had you in earth science, I knew you were smart. And the more I got to know you, the more I knew that you were going to be a great person. You're a triple threat. You are a good person, you're a great student, and you are a smart human. Through our lessons in astronomy or black holes or weather or rocks or building magic decks or just simply making sure that we team up together to take down an opponent in a game of Commander, I knew and saw firsthand that you have the ability to succeed where other people will give up. And I feel privileged to have been a part of your journey in life. And I'm excited to see what the next accomplishment you will have in your story. Thank you.
Coach Schuler is more than a presence or an enforcer. He is a leader, a teacher, and the greatest example. He is so involved and incredibly dedicated to his work and his students. But he also exemplifies what it means to be a great spouse and a kind person. He's one of the most selfless men I have ever met. The time he sacrificed away from his own family to help students like me get better and chase my own goals is something I'll never be able to repay. And for that, I thank him. Originally, wrestling hadn't always been so appealing to me. I could have done without the weight cuts and the extreme physical and mental toll competing had on me. But it was the culture wrestling had created that coaxed me into continuing. The culture Coach Schuler created and sustained. He respected his athletes and taught us to work hard and what we could come out of and what we could get out of it. He was blunt, but always gave us ways to improve. But what was greatest about Schuler is what he taught transcended wrestling. He always found ways to turn it into life experience so that we could apply it to the classroom or relationships with our friends or family. Because ultimately, Schuler realized that the impact he wanted to have was going to be greater than wrestling, and it was. It changed me, and I saw that it changed those around me. As I developed as a person and an athlete, there had always been one thing that held me back. My confidence is something that I'd always been working on with Schuler for the longest time, and I'm sure it was incredibly frustrating. Just when it seemed I had fit all the pieces together and I was ready to perform at my highest level, my mind got in the way. So it was him, Coach Schuler, who stayed persistent, constantly validating me and giving me tips on how to overcome my own mind, how my own mind attacked itself. It was day to day, but slowly I got better and better, and I trusted in Coach's words. It was then I realized what I was capable of and what I would accomplish and what I could accomplish. But it was only because of Schuler's concern and willingness to help me that I was able to do so. It's a time like now that I finally get a chance to look back at my time with the program and fully recognize and appreciate all that Coach has done for me. The lessons I've learned and the amazing moments I've experienced. Everything from bad to good, funny to sad. I wouldn't trade anything, and I don't regret anything. I'm just happy I've got to cross paths with one of Virginia High's greatest coaches of all time. I hope this letter stresses how much his time, effort, and mentorship meant to me. Thank you, Schuler, my coach, my friend, my hero.
I would just like to thank Gage for nominating me for this award. It's young men like Gage that make my job pleasurable, worthwhile. Kids like him are the reason I do this. And you know, with Gage, there's so many good things that could be said about him and what he was able to accomplish this year. Perseverance, fighting his own, inner demons with confidence and his mind getting in his way, and he overcame that, which is one of the hardest things an athlete at any level deals with, their own mind. And he was able to battle through that and achieve his goal. And there's very few people who can do what Gage did and improve the way that he did. And he did it with just through sheer hard work. There's no other way around it. He never gave up and never quit, and he worked as hard as any athlete I've ever coached. And proud to say that I know this young man, and proud to say that I'll always be here for him. I'll always be a mentor for him, and most importantly, I'll always be a friend to him. Thank you, Gage.
When I received the Golden V Award, I automatically knew who I wanted to give it to, Coach Kev. Some people may think it's because he has been my basketball coach for 4 years, but it's more than that. He has helped me become the athlete and person I am today. Coach Kev has shown me what it means to truly be a Lady Bearcat and play for the letters across my chest. Thank you, Coach Kev, for never giving up on me, even at times when I doubted myself as a player. You have no idea how much you not only mean to me, but my family as well. You are family. This last season, you gave me a huge role that I had to step up and fulfill, which mean you both know wasn't easy. I might have helped cause you getting one of those bald spots you say you get sometimes when the team stresses you out. You not only cared about my performance on the court, but off the court as well. Thank you for always holding me up to a high standard when it came to grades in school. You always made that known that grades come first. I will miss our late night McDonald and Wendy pit stops after an away game. I will never forget the time where my blood sugar got a tad bit low and Coach Kev turned into Dr. Kev. As much as I'm excited for the future, Lady Bearcat basketball will always hold a big and special place in my heart. Thank you for not only caring about me and the team as athletes, but as people too. I know I can count on you to always have my back when I need it. Can't wait to kick it with you as it has been. I love you and your awesome and amazing family so much. I can go on for hours just talking about stories and how much of an impact on me and my life you have made, but I think this will do for now. Thanks again for everything, Coach Kev.
Again, blessed to have student athletes just as Allie has been for the past 4 years, well 5 years, because since she was an 8th grader, we've always had our eye on her, making sure she was going to be a big part of our program. We always knew she would be. Just want to say thanks to her parents, to our community as a whole, to being able to raise quality young women that I've been blessed to be around for the past 5 years. Just been a great blessing to have not only Allie, but every other girl that's came through the program. And she's definitely a big part of where the program has come, and it will continue to grow as her being a big role model to some of our younger girls. Again, I want to say thank you.
I'm just honored to be able to give this award to someone who's impacted my life in so many ways, from not only as a coach, but as a friend and a mentor. He's been with me through it all, through all my injuries, and although it didn't come out the way we wanted to in the end, I'm just blessed to have been on a team with him as he was my coach. There's so much I could say, but I'm just going to keep this short and sweet. He's a great guy, a great leader, and no one else deserves this more than he does.
I just want to thank Nathan for nominating me for this award. Nathan has overcome so much in life, and a lot of people don't realize the obstacles he's had to overcome to get to where he is. Just the simple fact that he was able to perform the way that he did in cross country and track is it's a miracle in itself, and he's inspiring. It was an honor to coach him. The honor was truly all mine. I enjoyed every minute of practice with him. He's funny. He brings a smile and a laugh to every day and every practice. He works hard, never complains, and perseverance is a great word for him. And just a warrior battling through the disabilities that he had to deal with. And there's not too many people who would have endured what he did and stuck with it. And I'm proud to say that I know him. I'm proud to have coached him. I will always be there. I'll always be a mentor for him, and better yet, will always be a friend. And thank you, Nathan.
I chose to honor my father, who I consider to be the best teacher I've had in life. Not only has my dad helped me academically from a young age, he's also taught me some of life's most important lessons. My dad was my principal from kindergarten through the 7th grade. Being a principal's kid comes with its ups and downs, but I liked being around my dad every day at school. Not a lot of people get that chance, and I think he enjoyed being able to watch both my brother and I grow up from a different perspective than the average parent, and we certainly had a lot of fun during that time. He has always supported me in whatever I wanted to pursue, and he reminds me that he is my biggest fan. I can't count the number of cross-country and track meets I've had over the past 6 years, and I can't even remember the last time he missed one of them. Regardless of if he would have to drive 2 hours one way, do extra work the next day, or even drive the activity bus with the entire team there and back, he made sure I knew he was going to do everything in his power to be there. He always taught me that sports are truly important because they teach us about life. They show us that hard work can truly pay off, but they also teach us about hard times, how to accept defeat with humility and resilience. On more than one occasion, he's told me that sports show us what we're made of. Just because you encounter something difficult doesn't mean you give up. It means you push even harder to accomplish what you set out to do. He's taught me the value of hard work and instilled in me its importance from a young age. He's also modeled the value of hard work to me because he's definitely the hardest worker I've ever met. He showed me the importance of building relationships with people and has demonstrated this on multiple occasions, whether it was hosting team dinners at our house or volunteering through our church and the community. Most importantly, my dad has impacted my life by making sure my family was always in church and modeling how Christians should live their lives. I think this is one of the best gifts he could have ever given me because it showed me that God should be the first priority in my life. Not only is he my teacher, my father, and my role model, he's also my friend. Even though I'll be going to college soon, I know I could call him about anything at any time, even at 3 a.m., and he would always be there to listen. Thank you, Dad, for the huge impact you've made on my life and the impact you'll continue to make. I wouldn't be the person I am today, standing here giving this speech, if you didn't push and encourage me to strive for great things.
I can't imagine being recommended and nominated by my daughter. I'm reminded of a phrase that says there's no better compliment a parent can receive than when someone brags to them about their children. Well, hearing my daughter speak this evening, it reminds me that that cannot be true any longer, because I think the best compliment that a parent can have is when your children tell you what you mean to them and how you've helped them grow in life. And to me, I can't imagine a bigger compliment than just that. I appreciate Bristol, Virginia Public Schools going through the time and effort to help our seniors feel some closure to this senior year. And I'm grateful to be a part of this process and certainly grateful to be here tonight. Thank you.